Jackson Math. This is Intermediate 5, Lesson 46, Word Problems about fraction of a group. That's what we're talking about today. Word problems about fraction of a group. All right, let's get started. Make sure you have your notebook open and you write Lesson 46 at the top and today's date. All right, let's go. Here is your power-up mental math. Go ahead and try to work through these as quickly as possible, just to test your math skills. When you're done, you can come back and push play here again. All right, so feel free to pause it and then come back and push play. All right, let's keep going. What coin has a value of 50% of 50 cents? Which coin has that value? Now, this is talking about an American coin, not a Bolivian coin. So, which American coin has a value of 50% of 50 cents? The answer would be a quarter. All right, a quarter would be the answer. 5/10 plus 2/10. Remember that when the denominator is the same, we just have to add the numerator. So it would be 7/10. All right, 7/10 would be your answer. Now we have 5/10 minus 2/10, but again, the denominator is the same, so we only have to worry about the numerator, and 5 minus 2 is 3, so our answer would be 3/10. And we would write it like this, 3/10. Okay, nice and neat, neater than me because I'm writing on the computer. An ant has 6 legs. Altogether, how many legs do 82 ants have? So what you need to do is you need to multiply 6 times 8 and then, 6 times 82, and then you would get the answer 492 legs. 492 should be your answer. 1 bag of apple chips costs 75 cents. 10 bags of apple chips cost how much? So you need to multiply 75 cents by 10, and you would get either 750 cents or you could write $7.50. Either answer would be correct. What is half of 51? Well, we know that half of 50 is 25, right? Because we said up here that a quarter is 50% of 50 cents and a quarter is 25 cents. So we know that half of 50 is 25, and then we would have to do half of 1. So our answer would be 25 and a half. 25 and a half would be your answer. All right. What is 25% of 24 hours? 25% of 24 hours would be 6 hours, okay? Because 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 would be 24, and 25% is 1/4 of a day, okay? All right, and the last one, 10 times 10 divided by 2 minus 1 divided by 7 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 2, and your answer should have been 0. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Here is our problem. Renee counted boats on the lake. 1/2 of the boats were sailboats. 4 boats were rowboats, and the remaining boats were motorboats. If there were 12 boats altogether, how many boats were motorboats? All right, so we know that we have 12. Okay, that's our total number of boats. Right here it tells us there's our total number of boats altogether. And then we know half of the boats were sailboats. So how much is half of 12? 6. So 6, and we're going to put an S here for sailboat. And 4 of the boats were rowboats. So we're going to put a 4 here. And we'll put an R so we remember that they are rowboats. All right. And we know that the remainder our motorboat. So if we add 6 plus 4, we get 10. So if we take 10 away from 12, we would get our remainder. And our remainder would be 2. Okay, so we know there are 2 motorboats. I'm just going to put MB for motorboats. All right, but you can write it out because you're using a pencil and I am using the silly computer. All right, 2 motorboats. And we could check our work by doing our math backwards and making sure that all of our numbers all together add up to 12, right? So 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 2 is 12, and we have half of 12 is 6. Sailboats 4. We know there were 4 rowboats because it tells us right there. And then the remainder is 2. So we can see that our work is correct. All right, let's keep going. Okay, here is our new concept for today. Equal group word problems. Okay, remember we talked about other kinds of word problems before. We talked about some and some more, and some less, and now we're talking about equal groups word problems and fraction of a group word problems. These problems take 2 steps to answer. Here's an example. This morning, 2/5 of Mrs. Ray's 30 students rode the bus to school. How many students rode the bus? All right. One type of equal group problem is called a fraction of a group. And that's what we're talking about here. This is one type of equal groups problems. Fraction of a group. These problems take 2 steps, and here's the example. This morning, 2/5 of Mrs. Rye's 30 students rode the bus to school. How many students rode the bus? All right. Making a diagram for a fraction can help us to understand the problem. We draw a rectangle to stand for the whole group of 30 students. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's scooch this down a little bit so we can see our rectangle. We're going to use our tools over here, and you can just draw a rectangle on your paper. Okay, so we're going to insert our rectangle here in the middle so we can draw nice. Okay, and then we are going to figure out that the denominator of the fraction in the problem is 5. Okay, because we see the denominator right here. Okay, so we're going to need to have 5 groups inside of our rectangle. Okay, so now we have 2 rectangles. So we're going to go 1. And remember, you want to try to keep these as equal and as straight as possible. It's easier for you on your paper. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have 5 equal groups here in our rectangle. Okay, so the denominator of the fraction is 5, so we divide the rectangle into fifths. Dividing 30 by 5, we find that there are 6 students in each fifth, right? Because 30 divided by 5 gives us 6. Okay, so now we can write 6 inside of each box that we've made. Okay, so go ahead and do this on your paper. You should have one rectangle divided into 5 spots, and you're going to put that each spot is equal to the number 6. Okay, so we have 5 spots of 6. All right. Now we can label the 2/5 that rode the bus. Okay, so let's make a mark on the 2/5 that rode on the bus. So we know that this and this rode on the bus. Okay, it told us 2/5 rode on the bus. So now Mrs. Rice, 2/5 of Mrs. Rice's 30 students rode the bus to school. And now we can see that 3/6 did not ride the bus. Okay, they did not. So you can put not over here. And we can see that these 2/5, these 2/5 over here did ride the bus. So you can write did on this side, or you can write ride, whatever you want, so that you remember. Okay, so here we have a diagram of what's happening in our word problem. Okay, we have 2/5 that did ride the bus. We can write it out, 2/5. And how many fifths that did not ride the bus? 3. We can use this line that I already drew over here. That's handy. There's 3/5. Okay, 3/5 did not ride the bus. We count the number of students in the 2/5 of the whole, and we find that 12 students, right here, these 12, rode the bus. All right, and then we can check the answer by adding the fractions. All right, so here we have our 12 students that rode the bus. So if we had 2/5 by 3/5, we can add it up and we can see that we have 1 whole. Okay, so we did our math correctly. We would have 5 over 5, which would be 1 whole. So we could see that we have it divided up equally. Okay, so we now know that 12 students, or 12 kids, just because it's easier to write on here, 12 kids. Twelve kids rode the bus. Okay, that's our answer. All right, awesome work. So now we know how to solve a fraction of a group problem. We need to divide it up with a diagram and then figure out the fraction so that we can figure out the answer. Okay? All right, let's make oh, there it is. They did it for us. We just did it. Okay, example 1. Neve scored 2/3 of her team's 36 points. How many points did she score? So we're going to do the same thing like we just did, but we're going to do it again together. This time we can see that our denominator is 3. So we're going to make our rectangle, and then we're going to divide it into 3 equal parts. All right, more or less equal. Should be equal, but bear with me. Okay, and then we know that it's 2/3, and we have 3 parts. We need to divide 36 by 3, and 36 divided by 3 is 12. So in each box, we're going to write the number 12. Because 12 divided by the 36 divided by the 3 parts equals 12. Okay, and that wrote 21, sorry about that. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to mark that 2/3 of them she scored. So she scored this one and this one, okay? And we can easily see then how many points did she score? She scored 24 points. 24 points, all right? And there was 12 points that she did not score. And you should write the word points, but I'm just going to leave it there with a P. All right, 24 points. All right, let's go on to example 2. LaDonna's dog ate 1/4 of a dozen dog bones. How many dog bones were left? Okay, so this time we're seeing how many are left, and we know that a dozen equals 12, right? So when we have our shape, now you could use any kind of shape. We're just using rectangles because it's easy. Okay, so we're going to draw our rectangle, and we see that our denominator is 4, so that means we need to make 4 equal spaces in our rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we need to divide 12, because remember that this dozen equals 12. We need to divide 12 by our denominator. which is 4, right? And 12 divided by 4 is 3. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put 3 in each of our segments here. In each of our fourths, we're going to put 3. All right. And then we see that she only scored 1/4 of those goals. So she scored these 3 points here. Or sorry, she she ate these many dog bones. We were done with the points. The dog ate 1/4, so she ate 3 dog bones. How many were left would be these ones, right? There's 9 left. 9 bones left. All right, makes sense? I hope so. All right, but if you need help, you can come to study hall and we can work through it again. Example 3, a 5th grade basketball team scored 32 points in their first game of the season. The team scored 5/8 of those points in the second half of the game. Which diagram shows the number of points that the team scored in the first half of the game? Okay, so we know that they scored 5/8 of the points in the second half. All right, so both of these show that 5/8 were scored in the second half. So now we need to see what's going on here. Both say that there was 32, right? So that's right. So now we need to see which number shows the number of points that the team scored in the first half. Well, they both show us 3/8. So the diagram on the right, though, is the one that matches all of our information, right? Because this does not actually add up. These 3 points don't make sense, okay? Because we have 8 as our denominator, and 3 is not part of this equation, but 4 points is part of the equation, okay? Dividing 32 points into 8 equal parts means that there would be 4 points in each box, and this one can't be right because there wouldn't be 3 in some boxes and 5 in other boxes. Okay, so this second diagram is the correct diagram. So on your paper, you can just write the second diagram. Okay? All right, the second diagram. All right. Lesson practice. Let's do a couple of these together. There's only a couple today. 2/5 of the 30 students in the class played in the band. Okay, let's take a moment right here and realize that this 2/5 is the same as if we wrote out 2/5 this way. Okay, so you got to recognize where they're talking about a fraction. 2/5. So here's 2/5. Of the 30 students in the class played in the band, how many students played in the band? So first thing we got to do is we're going to draw our rectangle. Okay, here's our rectangle. Now it says it's divided by 5. So that means we need to have 5 equal parts of our rectangle. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Okay, we'll pretend those are equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. Okay, and now we need to use our denominator to divide 30. So 5 goes into 30 how many times? 5 times, right? 5 times 5 is 25? No, ooh, not right. 5 times 6 goes into, right? All right, so let's go ahead and write 6 in each of these spots. We're going to put 6 in here, and 6 in here, and 6 in here. Maybe, if it'll let us. Does not want to write anymore. You get the idea. Okay, there's 6 in each one of these, and I'm not sure why it doesn't want to write anymore. Okay, there we go. Maybe now it'll write. Does not want to write here. Okay, so there's 6 in each one, and 2 of them, 2/5 of the students in the class played in the band. So 2 means this one and this one. Okay, and so we can see that that is 12. 12 students played in the band. 12 is your answer, 12 students. All right. Let's try another one. Susan practiced playing the trumpet for 3/4. There's some information for us of an hour. An hour, that's a little different. How many minutes did Susan practice playing the trumpet? Well, we know an hour is how many minutes? An hour is 60 minutes. Okay, so don't get thrown off just because they put in a weird phrase. You can do the math and figure out that an hour is 60 minutes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw our square or rectangle again. Draw it a little bigger so we have more room to write. This time our denominator is 4, so we're going to divide our rectangle into 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, it does not matter what kind of shape you use. If you wanted to use a circle, you could use a circle. If you wanted to do a square like this and you felt like dividing it into fourths like so, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's just a diagram to help you. What's important is that you get the right numbers and you divide by the right amount. Okay, so we know that we need to divide our shape into 4 pieces. Okay, and now we know 4 goes into 60 how many times? Well, let's do some math, right? 4 goes into 60 how many times? Can you figure it out? I'll give you a minute because I would like you to do some of this on your own. Okay. 15. Okay, so you should have the number 15 in each of these boxes. There's 15. There's 15. Well, it should be 15, but it says 51. 15. Come on, thing. Okay, 15 down here. And 15 in the last box. Now, it says she played for how many of those? 3/4. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to mark that she played for 3. 1, 2, 3. Now all we need to do is we need to add up these 3 to make our answer. So our answer would be that she played for 45 minutes. And now we know for future problems that 3/4 of 1 hour is 45 minutes. Okay, you could have also used a clock-like diagram to help you out with this if that makes more sense for you. But I like these rectangles and squares. It's pretty simple, okay? All right. Last one, 3/5. Let's write it out so we remember what we're talking about. Here's 3/5 3/5 of the 30 students were girls, how many boys were there? Okay, so this is what we want to know, is how many boys were there? And we know that there were 30 students and they're divided into 5 equal groups. Okay, so let's get our rectangle here. Oh, that wants to be a line. Let's erase that, because we don't need a line. Okay, let's get our rectangle. Okay, here's our rectangle. We're going to divide it into 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to put 5 into 30 again. And we already know that 5 goes into 36 times because we just did that on our other problem. Okay, 6, 6, 6, 6, and one more 6. Okay, so now we have our 5 equal groups of 6, and we know that 3/5 are girls. So we're going to make the girls pink just because, and we're going to go like this. We're going to mark 1. Oh, that stayed red. All right, so girls, we'll make it another G and another G. 3/5 were girls and 2/5 are boys. We'll put a B for boys and we'll make it blue to make it different. All right, so we know that there were 12 boys. Okay, so when you're dealing with fraction of a group type of problems, the first step is to draw a diagram to help you break up your fraction into an easy thing to understand, and then to solve it, you need to just take the parts and make it a whole number, okay? So you're going to deal with the fraction first to find your whole number. All right, good job. Today's homework is on page 291 to 293. It's numbers 1 through 30. Written practice 1 through 30 in your book on page 291 to 293. You need to turn in your lesson notes and your written practice, please. All right, have a fantastic day, and I will see you later. Bye.